So we have this thing, which is already peeled off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I drop mine onto my PC and then pull it back out.
What do you mean?
Or desktop.
So you have it.
I just pull it out of there, put it on my desktop, and put it in.
Inside the file,
like that
the storage.
The little square that you show, right? I take
the main storage.
I put it out and put it into the desktop, and then I put it back into Photoshop.
Yeah, that's better because you can have a managing of the files, you know. So this one's for the purpose of the demonstration. I'm just putting them on the desktop so I can just delete them after. But so pretty much, yeah, you can even start, you know, like you can create a new. Let's say that this already is the settings from top to bottom, you know, okay. 1920 for 1080. So I can do that and then drop in the crap, or I can just start with the crap. So since
why would you want to change anything? I don't understand that. The 1080
depends of what you want to do. For instance, let's say that you want to drop in, you know. So this is pretty much an empty. You know, I'm gonna start with a black background. So this, by doing this, let me start with the fucking. So if I do this. Let's say that you want to try doing that so you can have a better notion of where it's going to fit or whatever. That depends on what you want to achieve. But is that something that you don't really care? You just don't go by straight up, you know, fucking right click, open with. You have the same option on your computer. Right click.
What I'm saying is, when do you go and you change the 1080p and the size of the? Do you ever do that, or is that?
Oh, okay. So this is something that you need to have on your knowledge. One second.
Because that's set.
Okay. Yeah. So whenever you get an you see here the pixels, the dimension,
right.
And actually when I went on Google, right here, over here, you get the You get how much pixels. If whenever that image is above 1,000 pixels, you're talking about an HD.
Okay.
So it's good for 1080p. If you're going to 4K, you need a 3,000 and above, so you can get a picture that is not going to explode the pixels when you put it on a big screen. So if I already know that this picture has a large resolution, I can just go ahead and straight up open it with Photoshop without really minding the resolution, because it's even if it's 1,000 something, you can stretch it up all the way to the screen. But since you're not gonna do that, you're just gonna use a small portion, if it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So now if I want to make a couple layers of the fucking.
Just put the crab. Just do the claws and the eyes is always the easiest.
Okay. So I'm going to do one eye, one claw, and one leg.
Okay.
So we can have 3 layers. So I will start with here. And 1 second. I will click this one right here. I will chop this one. Boom. And make selection, 0 pixels. Bring it up to a new layer. And
don't you delete that?
Yeah. So
I was doing the delete.
Oh, okay. So if you want to do that, you remember that you still have the paths, so you can still go back to just open path, and they're still there. So you can go make selection, and again, and just make sure that you just erasing that part on the original layer. So when you You know?
So
that's one.
I do mine like you showed me, where I just push Alto and rub it on there, and then go down to this once it starts to do the ants. Go down to the bottom. This one.
Oh, with the eraser? Oh, okay.
No.
Wait.
When I'm going to delete the claw, so that I don't get two double images, right? So I go to this one here. I put Alto, push Alto.
Oh, yeah.
And then drop down here, click on it, and then push delete. And
like I said, there's like a million ways to do the very same thing.
Okay.
So
that's what I do. I've gotten that technique.
You can always rely on that. This thing is going to collect the last pad, so you can use that for a benefit of any other thing. So I have an eye,
right?
And I have. Should I chop it over here? So maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna. So I can do a better square. Easier. From here to here. Okay. Make selection. 0. Boom. Oh, 1 second. I'm on this layer. Boom. And then this is claw. And then I just press command and this.
Right. And
go this and delete. So all right.
I press deselect to get that ready.
So the reason why I can suggest you this other technique is because let's remember that if you put a black background, you have this problem, right? So let's go back a little bit. Look. Boom. So I made that thing. Okay. So I have there the fucking claw. So yeah, I press Command J, Control J. Right. Now if I put just for the example, so you can see the difference.
How did you make it black?
I made a new layer.
But so you push B?
No. So in order to make a new layer or a black background, I was Control Shift N. That means new layer.
Okay.
Ask you the name of that layer. Let's say there is black background, and so I have here the color on top. So the color on top to make a fill is Alto delete or Alto backspace. Now if you move that layer to the very bottom, now this is the point that
So you're recording this. So.
Yes.
So why do you need that? Just so you can see your imperfections?
This is the thing that you have to deal when you do that cloning, when you do it with here. Okay. You have to always erase the little, the debris that left back there. Okay. But if you go to here, let's say that I already did this, right? Okay. I have the fucking shit. Right. And you see how it doesn't have any fucking debris over there? Right. And this is just another way to do it.
To double check that you did it clean.
Yeah, so you can go by path and use the very same path that you used to cut and make selection again. Okay. So you go back to layer and you delete. So now you select, and now you have, because you cut the whole thing, right? So you don't. When you go by doing this selection, is not perfect. It leaves you a very slender line, a very thin line,
And so you're saying that if you go through path, if you go through
select your path,
it'll be a better.
It's different. It's just another way that you can make sure that you actually left no debris behind.
Okay.
All right. So we have. Okay, now Pat. We have the crab with an eye and a fucking claw.
Right. Okay.
So do you want me to do one leg?
Do one more crab over here. And so what? So is the black going to come over to After Effects?
The black, I only use it so I can give you the example of what.
So you would delete that layer.
Yeah, I can delete it right now.
So you just push delete, don't you? You got to click on. It's clicked on. You just
because it was already selected.
Okay.
You see how?
Right.
By clicking on the empty part.
It lights up. Yeah, cut this guy up. Put one more.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a selection over here now.
So as you're doing this, now when I do the wand, sometimes I get into places like this and it doesn't put the alpha in. And when I go to clean it up with the wand tool, it deletes the legs. So do you mask that area and then put
No. There's a thing called tolerance. So the tolerance, what it means is how much tolerance does it has around different colors of pixels.
Right.
So when you see how when you click out here and it's making a selection, is because it's selecting all white pixels.
Right.
So when you give a tolerance, you give it a tolerance for this little shit that it leaves you on the corner on the borders, on the edges.
Well, or in here, I get it in here.
So so
if this is closed, and it's like if I go in after
so if you go here,
I click and lose the leg.
If you go here, in here, it selects you the entire fucking shit.
Right.
So in order to prevent that from happening, you lower the tolerance.
How do you lower the tolerance?
Okay, so
I was trying to make the thing small. I
so you're
with the
using
wand tool,
the wand right here, right? Let me stop this shit right here, which is connecting to the other computer. So you have here the wand.
Right.
Wand. And right here you have this thing called tolerance.
Oh.
So I don't have here. Let me do an example. Just for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm going to blend these two together in a sample image. So I'm going to turn everything off. So nothing is working here but this layer, okay?
Okay.
Which is already blended. You see how it's just one thing? So now, let's say I'm going to use this tolerance, and you're getting over here. 1 second. So now I made a selection. But if I bring up the tolerance, you see how it's getting inside, because
So you're going with the red.
Yeah.
You're using the red as an example.
So I'm using the black. You want to get rid of the white, right?
Okay, right. But isn't this line representing what it's going to get rid of?
Yes, and if I get rid of it, you see, so because I made the tolerance high. So if I get the tolerance really low, instead of doing that, it's going to select more accurately darker pixels. There you go. There's some more fine. You see?
So is that what you want to do?
Yeah. So what you want to do is lower the tolerance, and it's going to select, when you lower the tolerance, it's going to select just the
So why don't you want us to just start off like that? With low tolerance when you start with the wand tool?
That's just, it's preset by default in a certain tolerance that it doesn't get way too off and way too in, you know? So the preset default is like 20 something. Because if you give way too low tolerance, you're gonna get a bunch of this. This is what you have. This is what happens when you get low tolerance. So when you get low tolerance, these ones, we see them as whites, but in reality they're not really white. So this is what tolerance means. So this is the white that is actually getting rid of, but all these shades of this color are the tolerance level. So if I increase the tolerance, let's say that I'm going to select just 1 second, the ones. Let me look at the selection. The one, I'm going to make a selection of this. Look, you see how I'm trying just to select this pixel,
okay,
but it's selecting all these ones. So now let me bring the tolerance low. So if I bring the tolerance low, you see how it's just getting just these ones. So it's kind of like, you can call it discrimination of color, which is actually what it's actually doing, you know, is selecting more shades of the very same color into the group that you want to delete. So that's what you're getting. So now if we zoom it out, you're going to see that we see that as a white debris, but it's not actually white. So that's what tolerance of color over here is what's going to do. So the preset default is 26. So it gives you kind of like an edge that is not so
But
fucked
if you
up.
have but if you have an alpha background, right? You're not gonna and you zoom it in like that, it's not gonna show as well as if you do the black background, right?
Wait, what? It's the same shit.
But I mean, the alpha background, this is better for seeing what you're.
It reveals because it's a contrast. It's a hard contrast
Right.
because you're putting a black on behind the
Red.
the red, and it's going to reveal all those pixels that are out of the.
So you're saying that. So no, let me see if I'm understanding this. You're using when you're blowing that up. This right here, you're not going to mess with. Is that right? You're not going to really try to touch any of this. It's too much time consuming. Or if you wanted to go after it,
No,
you could.
let me show you this. On reality, what I do, I don't really never use this one. This is kind of like a material level. What you really want to do is go edge by edge
with
using
the masking tool?
I always use, even if I have hard, complex
Really?
images.
I remember you were saying that.
Yeah, I have pictures. Let me see if I can do a picture over here. 1 second. I have a picture of this girl. I always use an example. Let me see. Where's my heart? The fuck? Oh, it's right here. Let me see if I have here a Photoshop file. I have here a complex Photoshop file. Yeah, so pretty
So
much
you just
I
go
always
through everything, and then when you're all through and it's connected, what do you press delete, and then everything is deleted from the.
wait. You lost me.
So when you go through here, and you put all you do all your masking.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. That's a
then
good
you
question.
press delete and then
No. That's a good question. What you just did. So when you're masking around what you want to. Let's say that I want to get rid of that white pixels that are around it, right? So when I'm masking, let's say that I want to get rid of those pixels around this little Pac-Man over here. Okay. So 1 second. So I got this one. And I chop here, and I go here, I go here, I think I can go over here.
Okay.
Then I chop this one, I go here, and here. So, right here, what I have selected on my mask is the red pixels, but what you want to get rid of is the white pixels. So what you want to do is, make the selection as you always do, right? But here, what you're going to do, see if I just go ahead and delete that, it's going to delete that. But you say you want to get rid of the other thing, right?
Right.
So it's going to delete everything because I just selected that. So don't mind this part, okay?
Right.
So what it's going to do is Control Shift E. I. So what it does is inverts the selection and deletes everything.
So now I see that.
You have that option. If you ever forget the command, it's right here. Remember and select, deselect.
Right.
You have here, right, this one. Boom.
I got it on.
It's on video.
Okay, right.
It says inverse. It's the very same shit. So what it does is instead of deleting the red pixels, it reverts or inverts the selection and deletes everything around.
So that's the way you would alpha
That's the way that I alpha everything. Yeah, even if it's a complex picture with hair, I still. Let me see if I had something here. This is a picture of a friend, and even on her, you go like this.
Okay, right.
And then that's what you remember. See, if you turn the background, you see how it looks, blurry. So whenever you get this selection, wait. So whenever you're making a selection, and it asks you this.
Okay.
So that's what's happening here. You see how the edges are really, really blurry? So look, you see this blurriness?
Okay.
So when you bring up this edge selection, I'm gonna exaggerate so you can see the purpose of what happens. So I'm gonna make like 50 radius of.
Right.
So over here, if I delete that part, you see how it makes. So that's how you achieve that blurriness around, but pretty much just
Well, you kind of lost me there.
the point here is that
So the effect that you're giving is what? What are you doing? You're
okay. So pretty much the point there was just that even if it's a hard shape, sometimes it takes time, but that's the most perfect and accurate way to get your character.
But when you pressed it and it turned white because you turned the numbers down, I don't get why it did that.
That's the blurry. How blurry do you want the edges to be so it blends with the background? So it's kind of like, okay, let me show you here. So over here, 1 second. Okay, so when you make the selection, I'm gonna make the selection with 0 pixels. Okay. So you can see, and then I'm going to invert it, delete. You see how the edges are really sharp?
Right.
You see?
Right.
It's just really sharp.
Right.
Okay. So if I, let me go back. So if I make the selection with around, let's say that 9 pixels, and then I invert it and delete. Oh man, that's not enough. 1 second. Let me make it a little bit more.
So what I don't understand is, you're saying that it's sharper the lower the numbers are, the more crisp the line is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why do you not want to use crisp lines the whole time?
That depends on the purpose of what you want to achieve. Sometimes you want it to not look sharp.
But on this, you would want it to be sharp, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, because you're going to paper cut it and turn it into an animation.
Yes.
So you'd want to do it all the way to 0 all the time.
Yeah. I was just making a demonstration of what is that for.
The default on that is 0. It
0.
starts at 0, right?
Yeah.
You're saying
But
so you bring it up out of default.
But if you add, 1 second, let me go with the I. If you add P, 1 second, let me go with the I. So let me say that you have, 1 second. Let me see if I can make it work.
So it won't cut the black out with it, only the eye.
I'm working on this layer,
Oh.
so this layer doesn't have the background. Yeah, so pretty much. Okay, let's just skip that part. Maybe I can use another example later on that you can actually get benefit from that. Okay. But pretty much what it does, it creates these edges, a little bit blurry, so they don't look so obvious. These things right here. Okay. So if I do that manually, it will be with this one. So let me show you what it does. When you press.
So now, when you get these images, from Shutterstock, they don't have this. Is that right? They're cut out perfect to where.
Yeah, when you pay for them, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like getting.
Is that working right there? Or no?
Yes.
So what is that? An eraser tool?
No, it's kind of like the edges. Look, if I keep going and going and going, let me see. You're gonna see how the edges they start blending with the background. Just show this part. If I just click. You see how the edges over there start blending?
So what's it doing? It's taking the
it's
color?
It's kind of like erasing, but kind of like if you hide an airbrush. And erasing, so it looks blended, like smooth out. That's what it does.
Oh, so what tool is that?
This is blur right here.
Oh.
Blur. So what it does, that's the better example. Look. Creates that blur. Oh. So if you do the blur on the edges, it's going to look a little bit.
Softer. Not as sharp. Not as sharp.
Yeah.
Not as dramatic.
Okay.
If you want a different an effect, you can use that. Those are. Do you use that on regular pictures? That one, like when you have a photo.
Always, always. It's a perfect technique. So okay, now we have a layer. Fucking fuck. It's like.
So why has it got the white?
Oh, it's because I make some mistake here. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this fucking layer. This one over here.
How come you just didn't press delete?
I don't know. It was I was pressing delete and it was deleting something over there.
So when you brought it down, why did you bring it down to?
Here.
To delete it.
Here.
The trash can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was something was wrong, working wrong with my keyboard.
Okay.
Okay, so this one I'm gonna get rid of. What? Yes, this. I don't know. Oh, it's because this window is open. So I was fucking with this one. So I need to go back and I don't know, man. I don't know. Something. Oh, I don't know why. Something was going on over there. No. So I have 1, 2, 3, and you wanted to make this a layer, right? So let me make this one. You can also use this, the elliptical. So if you calculate the kind of like the center, you can go Alto and Shift, and it's going to create Alto. Wait, it's just Alto. And if you press the space bar, you can move it. You can create.
But it doesn't.
That's enough.
It doesn't have to be exact because you're in alpha, right? Mm-hmm. So what did you push? Which feature?
This one, lasso. So with with this one, you can create rectangular shapes like this, or you can create circular shapes or elliptical.
And so when you get that, it's getting to where it's going to cut it out.
Yeah, because I already know that sheet is a circle. So what I did is I pressed Alto and Shift, so it remains consistent on the radius. Okay. So I just started growing. You see how it touches the edges?
Right.
So right now I have over there 2 edges. So okay. Fuck. Okay. So right there I press spacebar and I can move it up. And fuck. No, okay. I couldn't. Yeah, but fuck it. So okay. You can
play with that.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, the space bar locks it in there. It's supposed to lock it in.
The space. Okay. So when you're making, let me show you with the square too. So if I'm making a square just like that.
Right.
Let's say that you want to make a square. Right now it's a rectangle, but the Alto. Okay, never mind. The Shift locks that it makes it square.
Okay.
So when you're using the circular version, it's the same thing. If you don't press Shift, it's going to make an ellipse, but if you lock on Shift, it's going to make an actual circle.
So how does it keep its form? Just by unlocking it? I mean, by just
Shift. Let's say that over there, if I press Shift, it's going to create a square. Now, if I press Alto, what it does is grows proportionally into the same,
Okay.
So if I press Shift and Alto, it's going to grow with the proportion on place and with the square locked. It's the same thing with the circle.
So it's going to go out as a square. It's not going to squeeze in.
Yeah. So wherever you press the click, is going to be the middle or the center, like that. You see how it goes? Mm-hmm. And if you want to start another place with the space bar, you can move the selection. Okay, now we wanted to do a layer with this shit, so I'm gonna go with the easiest, which is just right here. Make selection, and that, and over here, and make selection again, layer, on this one, delete. Boom. So we have all the parts.
Right.
We have an eye. We have a cloud right, which is this one. We have the cloud left, which is this one. And this is just
sitting there. The body. Okay. So now what I would do is I would go to File, Save As, right? Save As, and then it's going to open up the file. It should open up the file where you're going to save it. Yours is different than me. But
it's pretty much the same thing. Look, always make sure that when it says Save As, Photoshop. So Photoshop
but
file.
Mine doesn't say photo. Mine just says main storage, and I open up
over
main
here
storage.
is, let's say that this one is your main storage, or fast data is the one that I have connected here. So I'm going to use fast data. So fast data is this hard drive that I have connected.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the equal of your main storage.
Okay.
So if I go here and I put layer it crap.
Okay.
And save.
Save. Right.
Save.
Okay, now say it blinked. Okay.
Now, if you go down, you have a little yellow file icon, right?
Right.
They open, and 1 second. So you go to your, what do you call it? Your.
But mine doesn't look like a crab. Mine says.
This one actually shows the picture, but it is a Photoshop file. Yeah,
Okay.
this one is different. But
Now I do the same technique. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
so that so far, you got it good. Now let's
I don't see what
let's
the
go
hell I'm
from
doing
here
to After Effects.
So if you're doing that part
That's what I'm doing.
the way that I did it,
And it does a little thing.
so so that means that your Photoshop file is clean. It's good to go.
Okay, so that
The
whole
problem
thing-
is not in Photoshop.
Okay.
Okay, so let me close Photoshop and let's go to
After Effects.
yeah.